what is in here and what's been worked out so far. If you want to tell me a realistic number, because none is actually not realistic, is it? You do need some. And so...
Yes, and that's got to be finished, hasn't it?
But that was in the last planning development programme, and we're now planning up to 2026, and in some cases 2030. So you have to plan for the increasing population across the board. So there is a need for some housing, but really we need to think. So what do you find acceptable, rather than just no, we don't want to hear it?
So Cllr is a village of a similar size to Easton, at least in the previous census.
I don't know. Yeah.
And they've been allocated 20 houses, and their population in the previous census similar to Easton at 1,100.
Right. I don't know. I'll take that back. 20. Yeah. But so if you have someone 20.
And still,
any advance on 20? If I talk to your leaders who are representing this, and we can sit down where it's quieter and sort out what you think is reasonable, I'm quite happy to put your views forward.
Yes, thank
because that's what you elected me for, to put your views forward. Okay.
Margaret, we have to move
yeah.
on. We have to move on. I'm sorry, we have to move on.
Can I just say something, please?
What?
As regards to your question about the village hall,
Yeah.
this village hall, the biggest committee or the biggest club that has it is the Good Companions. There's 35 members. That's the biggest amount of club that's been here. Everything else is much, much lower. You don't want a big village hall for 20 more houses.
Well, that's to do with the village. That's not my.
That's not one of the things.
Yeah. Okay. That's a village thing.
Margaret, so, it's the first I heard of it today about the scrutiny committee you mentioned.
Scrutiny doesn't look at planning usually. Planning is usually sorted out by the Planning Policy Committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as our local council, I assume obviously you know all about the Localism Act. An act
I'm not on the Planning Committee, so I don't know it in detail. I would have to go back and look.
Okay, but the Localism Act is an act to kind of for local communities to be able to come together and decide what they want for their local area, housing, social housing, etc. So as our councillor, what would you say is an acceptable counter proposal for the number of houses that are proposed to be built? You're asking all us what we want. What do you think would be a fair counter proposal?
What do I think? Well, I've just listened to what you wanted, so I don't know. No, all right. I won't. I'm not trying to avoid the questions. I don't know the answers. What do you think? A couple of hundred? Do you think a couple of hundred on one? Do you think a couple of hundred somewhere around the outskirts?
Is that a reasonable argument?
I don't know.
You don't know.
But what's your opinion? It keeps getting asked. What is your opinion?
Maybe a couple of hundred around the outskirts of the village.
So on the other side of the new village hall site or something like that to make it rounded.
Can get away with 20, and they're asking us to have 907.
Yes,
because
Yes, we did. And it would have still got to this stage. No, they'd have railroaded it through to this stage.
Not this. Yeah.
sorry, we cannot hear.
It's only in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We've started 904 houses. At Oaks meetings, when it was in here, we've seen no number of the houses you've never put amongst people attending.
Right.
It's the piece of land, this piece of land, this piece of land, and this is what we're going to do. And we may throw in a new village hall, we might throw in a gymnasium and all that. And these little bits of fun, but the actual number of houses was not mentioned, and you won't find it on a piece of paper that details any minutes from when you were there or this parish council.
Oh, right.
It's only in the last 2 or 3 weeks, 904 houses has come to the fore, and that has gelled everyone's mind.
Right, I wasn't aware that the numbers weren't up when the developers put them up. Yeah. Okay. I will work with your people who are leading you to talk about what you want me to
Margret
say.
said what she will do.
Yeah.
Please, can we move
Yeah.
on? Otherwise I have to do it.
Here.
If you want to move on, please move on.
Yeah.
Medical service was the one that more or less.
John has got a letter from Anglian Water.
But I'm not be helping us standing that I could sit here and not say anything, but I'm trying to be helpful.
The person standing next to that song sitting there. Oh, can you tell him he's down? He is down. Well, that's all.
Right. Explain Anglian.
You want to listen to the next bit, which is Anglian Water and flooding?
Yes.
Well, okay, then we'll move on. John is going to read it.
No.
I invited Anglian Water to come to this meeting.
Can't hear you.
I invited Anglian Water to come to this meeting, and this is part of their reply. They said they will be unable to attend. The applicant has liaised with Anglian Water via our pre-planning inquiry service, and we completed our assessment that has identified a potential drainage solution. By requesting the local planning authority to include a drainage condition, if they're mindful to grant permission, this should ensure the development does not proceed until the necessary sewage infrastructure is in place. Now, they don't go into the detail of it, but that is a statement that they have been talking, and there is something more than that.
We can't hear you, sorry.
We can't really take questions on that because we haven't got anybody to represent them, and that's just what John read, which they sent. But if you go on the website, you can find the answers. What's that? Well, you can. I don't know whether we can actually answer it.
Just very quickly, because I know that education is a pretty hot topic. I believe that's next on the agenda. We had a question for the South Norfolk Council employees. I've got their names now, but obviously they've left quite early, and that's a bit unfortunate. We also know it's a consortium, weren't here either, but there we go. The question really was around, there is reference to flooding risks from foul and surface water in the village, and also back up to Chapel Break. Now, we know that water companies and developers can obviously engineer ponds and sloughs and swales to take off surface water, but I think one of the concerns for many people here, like our friend Queen's Hills down the road, is having stuff completed before it actually starts to be developed. As you know, at Queen's Hills, as Margaret would know, Margaret, thanks for taking all those heavy questions earlier. You know, it's Queen's Hills kind of being built so the wrong way around. The school probably isn't big enough now, the roads are still a mess, etc, etc. So we would ask the council, what controls and permissions are in place to ensure that any Anglian water type, ground, surface, foul water treatment changes are made and in place before the development actually kicks off? And I guess, Margaret, if you take that back for us at some point to the South Norfolk Council, please.
Can I just say, all I've got, I haven't got any answers, all I've got is this book at the moment, Greater Norwich Development Partnership. In here, sewage upgrade, and that includes Easton and Cossey, funding sources, the developer and Anglian water provision, but it says estimated delivery dates 2021. So, I mean, that's all I've got, that's all I've got.
So I think part of the main issue for a lot of people is, again, going back to Queen's Hills, is getting things the right way around, making the developers fund something early doors rather than take a big fat profit and walk away. So we need you, Margaret, and colleagues, please, to obviously push on that. Thank you.
Okay.
We now move on to educational service.